Today's video is an exciting one because we are setting up this 120 centimeter 4-foot and we're going to turn it into a South American inspired angelfish aquarium. I'm excited. Hope you guys are excited as well. It is currently 9:15 in the morning. This is the second day of me working in the Haim studio. Yesterday I did the 2 Aquascape lines. Today we're working on the 4-foot, and hopefully when I have time I can start working on the 2-meter tank as well. So if this is your first time seeing this space, then let me quickly explain. I'm in my local fish shop Haim's, and the owners have recently built a little aquascaping gallery. We have 4 big tanks. We have an Aquascape line 90, we have an Aquascape line 100, a custom-made 4-foot 120 centimeter tank, and a custom-made 2-meter tank. So yesterday I built these 2 hardscapes. Today I'm doing the hardscape for this one, and if I have some time left, I'm doing the hardscape for this one. So this week I'm just here for 3 days just to build all the hardscapes. And once all the hardscapes are done, we're going to fill all the tanks with water and then turn the lights off. And basically cycle the tanks like that for 2 to 3 weeks. It's actually called a dark start. The reason I'm doing a dark start is because all of these tanks have a very nutrient-rich aqua soil. So if we were to plant them on day 1 and then fill them up with water, we have to do a lot of water changes. I'm not here to do those water changes. The guys in the store are also very busy, so that's the main reason why I want to do a dark start. Second reason is because some of the pieces of wood that I'm using will probably either release tannins or grow some mold and some fungus, which is again more headache. Okay, so let's talk a little bit about the setup for today. So it's a 4-foot tank, 120 centimeters from left to right, 50 centimeters front to back, and 50 centimeters tall as well. Total volume is roughly 300 liters. I'll put all the inches and gallons on the screen as well. It's a custom-made tank, and you might notice that the glass is actually not optic white. This is regular float glass, so this has a bit of a greenish tint. And here on the Aquascape lines, these are optic white glass. You can see there's a bit more of a bluish tint. So they say that regular float glass is not as clear. Yeah, I haven't used a float glass tank in a long time, so we'll see once the escape is done. Then for the light we are using the Chihiros W RGB2 Pro. This thing is very powerful. You can pretty much just grow any type of plant that you want. Now this one is sponsored by Chihiros, so I want to give them a huge shout out. We're actually using Chihiros lights on all the tanks in the gallery, and basically every tank has a different model. So the Iwagumi has a Chihiros A2 series, which is a bit more of a budget range. The 100 centimeter tank has the Chihiros Universal RGB. Then we have the WRGB2 Pro. And over here on the 2-meter tank we have the Vivids. These are like the flagship lights, the most expensive ones. Then the tank is sitting on an aluminum stand which has a removable cover. So here we have plenty of space for filtration, CO2, all those kind of things. We're going to use 2 filters on here. I think they will be Heim filters. Yeah, but that will all come later. Yeah, enough talk. Let's get to work. I think we're going to start building the substrate layer first. So I'm going to grab a shopping cart, go a little around the shop, get the things that I need, and then we can get started. Okay, so first thing we need is some aqua soil. In the Oase tanks we use the Aquascape soil because those were Oase tanks. I think for this one we're going to use the aqua soil from Chihiros. So these bags are 9 liters, so I think for a 4-foot tank, yeah, let's grab at least 4 bags. Okay, let's start getting some of this substrate in. I like that these bags have like a little, yeah, easy way to open them, you know, you don't really need scissors for this. Now I'm probably going to make quite a thick substrate layer because in here I want to use Amazon sword plants. So they need a lot of substrate just so they can grow some healthy roots. So that's 2 bags in. Push a little bit towards the back. Let's do 1 more for now. So the aqua soil from Chihiros is a little bit different than your standard, let's say ADA or tropic aqua soil. It's a bit of a difference in the granule size, Also the texture feels a little bit different. It's quite hard right now. I can't really crush it with my fingers, so that's a good thing. But I'm not sure what's going to happen, you know, once it gets soaked with water. Yeah, it's just a bit different than your standard type of aquasoil. Curious how many nutrients will be locked in this and be released. Okay, so we got enough substrate in, so let's talk about the Hardscape. So I'm gonna go for a South American inspired aquarium. So I kind of wanted to look natural. So I've been looking at these rocks over here, the dark pebble rock. I think these look really cool. They're also readily available here in the Netherlands, so if some people want to replicate my layout, and they definitely have access to those materials. Yeah, do we have other options? We could go for the brown boulders as well. Just wanted to look natural. And then for the wood, they have again a lot of variety. This stuff is called kajika wood, but it does release a lot of tannins. Looks pretty cool though. You have your regular spider wood. I'm actually thinking of using this stuff. This is called Riverwood. But we need some bigger pieces than that. Okay, so I've selected some really nice dark pebble rocks, but there is one issue with these ones. That's because they're all kind of the same size. Okay, this one is a little bit smaller, but the majority of them are all sort of like this size, you know? And let me show you why that's an issue. Okay, so it's easiest to show you from the side. So these dark pebble rocks, they kind of have to lay flat, you know? If they stand upright, it could work in some layouts, but not with what I have in mind. But if they lay flat, they take up a lot of surface area. So I wanted to have some cosmetic sand in the foreground, a lot of plants in the mid and background. But because these rocks are so flat and so big, they kind of take up too much surface. So I'm thinking of actually smashing them and turning them into smaller bits. Okay, let's give this a try. Here we go. That's not too bad. Okay guys, the rocks are smashed and I found some really nice pieces of wood as well. So yeah, Riverwood, I'm gonna keep the tags on for now. And once I'm really satisfied with the hardscape, we can remove them. So let's see if we can make a nice composition. So I'm just starting by placing in some bits of wood. Kind of have an idea what I want to make, but it just kind of slowly has to come together. So this is a very nice piece. Okay, I've put the camera away for a little bit just so I can focus on the creative process. This is where we're at right now. At the moment I'm quite happy with the wood structure on the right side. I think the left side still needs a little bit more work, but we're getting there. There's a lot of balancing small twigs and stuff like that, so I'm thinking to start removing some labels and actually start gluing things as well, because otherwise I have to balance everything with rocks. So yeah, let's start gluing some things. Okay, so I have my liquid super glue, cotton pads, pin sets. Let's see if we can do this. Okay, one eternity later, both the left side and the right side are now completely glued together. So the most boring part is now done. I think the next step is to add in a little bit more aquasoil. At the front we still have a very thin layer, and I just want to add a little bit more height to the background as well. So this is going to be aquasoil bag number 4. I was initially planning to put some cosmetic sand in the foreground, but I think I'm just going to keep it soil only and then just have maybe some tenellus as a carpeting plant. We also already have a sand foreground on the tank on the right, so this one will be a carpet probably. Okay, I'm happy with the amount of aquasoil that we have in there right now, so I'm going to start adding in some more rocks. See, now that we've cut them in half, they could stand upright. Something like that could be nice. Okay, I've got 2 pieces that I'm not sure about. This one over here. Like right now it's quite empty in the center, but maybe that's actually a good thing. And then we have this piece over here. Just felt like this right corner was a little bit too empty. Yeah, guys, I think maybe for this tank, it's better to go with less is more. I want to plant a lot of Echinodorus in here. You know, those plants need a lot of space to grow as well. So maybe not too much hardscape is actually better. Yeah, so I think this hardscape is done for now. It might look a little bit flat on camera, but let me give you guys a bit of a side shot. I mean, it is quite flat. I mean, you have a foreground, most of the hardscape is in the midground, and then you have, you know, an empty background. But I think for a tank with a lot of Echinodorus, that's kind of what you want. I also like that this hardscape is very contrasting with the other ones. So this one over here, you know, we have a lot of brown soil, we have brown wood, petrified wood. So it's a very different layout compared to this one. And then the 90 is also, again, very different. So I think we just have a good variety of scapes at the moment. Okay guys, fast forward 2 weeks later. Today we're adding in the plants. I've actually just finished planting the other two tanks, so the Iwagumi and the river style Aquascape line 100. And now we're moving on to this one. We've got this huge box full of all kinds of Echinodorus sorts, some green ones, some red ones, small ones, big ones, and they're all going to go in here very shortly. So just a quick overview of the tank. I mean, it's been running with water for 2 weeks with the lights on like 10%, so not really much has happened. We have a little bit of some sort of algae or fungus on the wood over there. So I'm going to start draining the tank soon, and then I'll just clean up a little bit. Okay, tank is fully drained. I've also already started preparing some of the Echinodorus. Some really nice ones, some of that I don't even know yet. I'll put a full list in the video description, but I'll try to show you as many of them as possible. Okay, first up we have the horemanii green. This one will grow quite big, also has very slim leaves, so I'm gonna plant this one in the background. Then we have the classic Amazon sort, again gonna grow quite big, so also gonna go in the background. Next up, Echinodorus Gabrielli. A really beautiful one, very compact. So I think this one will be nice in the mid-ground. I think this is a really good spot for it. I'm actually gonna dig a little hole. That looks really nice already. Moving on to Echinodorus reni. I think this one will grow quite big, and we'll have some brownish reddish leaves as well. So I'll try to mix it into the background. So I think it will be nice if it will come out in this open space here. So I'm gonna plant one over here. And then we can do another one in this spot. Next one is the Echinodorus atlandsberg. Never heard of this one. Already has some reddish tint to it. And the card says placement at the back. So let's do that. So we still have some space over here. And then I think I can fit this one over here. Moving on to a relatively small one, Echinodorus hadi red pearl. Card says placement in the center. So yeah, somewhere in the mid-ground. Mid-ground, maybe that's a nice spot over there. Yeah, I think this is the perfect spot. Now we can do one more over here. Okay, I think that was it in terms of all these special Echinodorus. We have quite a few varieties. Of course, most of them still need to grow a lot larger. Next step is to fill in the rest of the space with two different plants. The Echinodorus tenellus. This will go mostly, you know, all the way in the foreground. And then I have Sagittaria. So this will kind of just go in between, in the mid-ground, in between all the big Echinodorus. Kind of just as a filler plant. Okay, so I've just spent a few minutes planting the Halantium tenellum and the Sagittaria. So I think we're almost done. I just want to put a little bit of moss on the wood. Yeah, this was definitely the easiest tank to plant out of the 3 that I've done today. So I still have a pot of weeping moss. I'm going to use that on the wood branches. So if possible, I'd like to avoid using glue, so I'm just going to wedge tiny piece of moss like in the cracks in the wood over here between the wood and the rocks as well. Okay, fast forward, 4 weeks have passed since we added in the plants, and today we're adding in a fish. I'm super excited. So the tank is looking pretty good already, but it definitely needs a few more weeks to really develop and just get better plant growth. We already had some really good plant growth in the foreground. I think it's almost due for the first trimming session, but all the Amazon swords in the background, they just need to grow a little bit bigger, you know? But I mean, the tank is cycled, so we can definitely add in the fish. Once we add in the fish, we're also adding in more waste and more nutrients for the plants, so they will start growing better as well. So I've had a few weeks to think about which fish I want to add to this 4-foot tank. We're definitely going to add angelfish, and then we're just going to keep it South American. So we're also going to add cardinal tetras. We're going to add these guys, dwarf pencilfish. We're going to add these guys over here. Not sure what the English name is for them, but I'll put the name on the screen. Then of course some Apistogrammas as well. They have really good selection, but I really like these ones over here. Apistogramma niceni. So I've ordered all those fish last week and they just came in today. Straight from the wholesaler, so we don't have to catch anything and we can just start acclimating them. So the wholesaler that Heems is using is called Gommers. And we want to give them a shout out because they've provided the fish for this tank. So shout out to Gommers, thank you guys. Let's see what we have. Oh, these are the Apistogrammas. These are the, I found out they're called whiptail catfish. I think we have 3 of them. The dwarf pencilfish. Then we have got cardinal tetras and more ottocinclus. And then the stars of the show, 2 bags of beautiful, beautiful angelfish. Okay, all the bags are in. And while these guys are temperature acclimating, we can shut off the CO2. Just to make the whole acclimating process easier. So it's a good time to show you guys what's under the hood. We have 2 Eheim filters. These are the, this is the Professional 4+, and here we have the Professional 3 CO2 system from Chihiros. And we are currently using the Denala fertilizers, the Plant Pro and the MPK. Okay guys, are we ready? First fish going in are the dwarf pencilfish. I think we have about 20-25 of them. They're so peaceful and just really interesting fish to watch. That's a beautiful little group of pencilfish. Okay, next up we have the cardinal tetras. We've got 50 of them. Can't go wrong with cardinal tetras. Love them. I'm curious to see if they will like stay together as a group or if they will just spread out a bit more, you know. Next up we have the whiptail catfish. We've got 4 of them. And these guys are still quite small. I think they can grow like, I don't know, 15-20 centimeters, something like that. Quick shot of them before they disappear. Actually these guys are quite social, they don't really hide that much. Here we go with the Apistogrammas. Should have 2 pairs. This way guys, come on. Of course a little bit stressed at the moment, but these are absolutely beautiful. This is the male, has a bit more blue. And then this is the female, which will be bright yellow. Here we go guys. The moment I've been waiting for. The first group of angelfish. And here's the second group. That's the entire stocking of this tank complete. Of course everybody is a little bit stressed at the moment, so we'll come back in about 30 minutes or so and see how they're doing. But look how the pencilfish are really staying together as a group, all pointing in the same direction.